compelling story starts, this one begins with a caveat, a totally unscientific observation from a woman's perspective. I thought I would share the story. It might be of interest, it might not. I'm not making a judgment on individuals that use illicit material, but just an observation I had on a recent experience in regards to a fella. So, I moved into a shared home with two other people, a guy and a girl. The house is pretty bare, and due to a mix-up with providers, we don't get internet for almost 2 months. Let's call the man K. K and I get on like a pair of things that really get on. We have many in-sync moments. Hey, I have the back catalogue of Babylon 5 too. It is slightly sickening. He makes me laugh. He laughs a lot. He looks me in the eye when he talks to me. He looks at everyone when he's interested in them and listens inherently to their thoughts and their views. When he comes home from work, he works as a math teacher. He talks with such enthusiasm about his job, I can almost see the appeal of maths myself. No mean feat for somebody who got a D at GCSE and still uses her hands to count. So this is from the UK, if you don't know what GCSEs are. And this is a female's perspective, again, I should reiterate that. Alongside all of this, there's almost an instant physical and incredibly powerful attraction. It is unusual for me to feel such an instant and strong attraction to a guy. There's just something incredibly and alluringly masculine about him. Like he set off some primitive hindbrain, jabbering like, this man, good, look at his man arms and man chest and man face, man in my subconscious. Looks-wise, he's kind of on the rotund side, glasses, slightly unkempt beard, and probably a bit too much skull for his face. He's not objectively speaking the most physically attractive of all men, but for some reason he is to me. Everything about him leaves me smitten. Here's another thing, he smells really good. Although I can't define the scent or put my finger on it, he doesn't wear aftershave. I think it is just something about him. I make excuses to hang out with him and be around him, which is pretty easy when you live within 10 meters of one another. And I think he might like me too. I'm an old-fashioned kind of girl. Plus, I know that any sort of relationship with a housemate is disastrous for a shared house. So my rationale and controlled self stops me from flinging myself into his manly arms, but wow. It was kind of enjoyable and, as odd as it sounds, wholesome just to be attracted to somebody in such a spontaneous and natural way. Then we get the internet. I see where this is going. Over the next month or so, things change so drastically, it is weird for me to even think about how I used to feel about him. He spends more and more time in his room, locked door, getting up later and later for work. He doesn't look anyone in the eye. In fact, he doesn't meet mine or anyone's eyes much anymore. He doesn't laugh or seem to take enjoyment in anything. The interest and enthusiasm he had when talking to other people or about maths or 90s sci-fi disappeared. He's made occasionally, but incredibly inappropriate comments about myself and my housemates that seem out of the blue and out of character. His skin looks grey and greasy. He was fast-tracking his career and now he seems to be falling further and further behind. And for some obscure reason, streaming TV shows at about 8:30 p.m. becomes an absolute nightmare for me or my other housemates. The indefinable attraction I felt for him has disappeared. He doesn't smell good anymore. His eyes look dead. In fact, my bodily instincts have taken a U-turn. Instead of encouraging me to scoot up to him, they are warning me to stay away. This could all be a coincidence, of course. He's still essentially the same guy and a good one. I'm not suggesting that adult material use has turned him into a bad person. Just less good and less attractive version of the man he could be. I'm not a scientist or psychologist or any sort of ist, but I don't think it's any accident that there's a correlation between getting the internet and this undefinable aura of manness dissipating. It makes me think that adult material use is capable of altering a man's body chemistry and bearing. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm starting to realize how many people I'm surrounded by are losing out, myself including, because of adult material. I wonder how many missed chances there have been. because something is either repressed or used up or changed by watching it. There are some additional edits here. Trousers has asked a question. Thanks for all your replies. I'll try to answer things more thoroughly tonight when I get home from work. To quickly answer a few things. How do you know it's adult material use? Short answer, obviously I can't know for 100% certain. I'm not going to go shouting, are you engaging in the sin of, you know what? However, I can say A, he's not actually a big computer internet user and he doesn't play computer games. And B, mostly it's instinctual. He seems just off and kind of repellent in those ways. Like he stumbles out of his bedroom, won't look at me in the eye, I'm in the corridor at the same time and rushes into the shower. See, when I have gone into the bedroom asking about general health stuff, always knocking first, I can hastily hear him clicking the screen, and the screen is always blank when I go in while he's sprawled with his laptop on his bed. Maybe he just has a thing for blank web pages, who knows? D, my housemates have picked up on the same vibe. E, his poor computer is riddled with malware, I keep offering to fix it. I work as a tech monkey, but he won't let me anywhere near it. In my experience fixing computers, most of the time a lot of malware gets through, you know what. F, zombie eyes and weird smell. Side note, really interesting benefit of not having this habit on it anymore is I can let people use my phone and my computers without any anxiety whatsoever. Very, very strange. A bit more of an explanation. I'm not making any moral judgments on adult material use or masturbation. It's actually something that I don't think about very much. For my own personal reasons, I haven't had sex and I'm not sexually active in any way, as I mentioned. I'm kind of old-fashioned, although you only, apparently. Although there are always challenges to that, I'm actually very happy and waiting for the right person in the right situation. I know on the attraction I was trying to describe, I was a bit concerned that some people were suggesting that I tell him I was super lustful when I met him and he should give it up and we can get together. That's a bit much. As weird as it sounds, the attraction wasn't exactly a sexual one, although I'm sure it would have been the essential element developing in a sexual attraction. It was even more basic. It just felt natural, non-weird, instinctive, operating to invert a phrase, me, Jane, you, Tarzan level. Animalistic, very, very primal, instinctual. It's very much, you smell good, you are nice for some reason, I'm besotted with all your manliness. Look, I'm wearing a dress, it's nice, I like you. Look, I made you something with potatoes in, you look good, you smell good, hi. There's a real emphasis here on the olfactory senses being sensitive towards maybe increased levels of testosterone, androstenone, I believe, as well as another pheromone that is very potent with individuals that are going on long stints of abstinence. Yeah, obviously I like his personality and had fun with him when we were hanging out, but I'm talking about something at a super basic level, something you could almost smell, something that you could smell. One of the very, very important things to be sensitive towards is women have mirror neurons, and I'm going to do a more comprehensive video on this. And the outcome of this, me telling you, is just to be sensitive towards her sensitivity in acute behavioral changes and eye contact and the small inflections of the mouth and nose and facial muscles. Women are very, very, they can pick up these details with great fastidiousness than men can. And they're going to be able to be sensitive towards when you're respecting yourself and when you're not. Coupled with the other factors like the pheromones that you're excreting, your motivation, your drive, your zeal, your testosterone levels being high, and fundamentally reaping the rewards of how we were supposed to live and how we were naturally supposed to attract women. I'm very curious to hear your understandings of this as well. Maybe you've got some stories that you can share with us as well. And seems that these aren't theories today, that these are cold, hard facts. Speak soon.